Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems for GMAT in these clips that you're watching. The problems come from this book, the GMAT Review, the official guide, 11th edition. You must have this book. If you don't have one, buy one immediately at mba.com. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that appears on page 163. Number 90, problem solving number 90. Let's take a look at it. It says, I'm going to read the problem first to you, and you should have the book in front of you here. It says, at the rate of m meters per second, how many meters does a cyclist travel in x minutes? Now again, there are two ways of solving this problem, as I have explained to many times to you. When you see an algebraic problem in the exam, or as a matter of fact many other problems as well, there are two ways of taking the exam. One is what I call the classical way, the traditional way, the orthodox way, the geeky way, the nerdy way, the proper way, the algebraic way. You can do it like that. If you can do it the algebraic way, the proper way if you like, the classical way, the traditional way, if you're very good at algebra. Not everybody is good at algebra. There are people who don't feel comfortable with algebra, who do not like dealing with algebra, and when they try to solve the problem with algebra, it takes them too long, and they are more prone to making mistakes. For those people, there's another technique called plugging in, which is what I'm going to do here right now first. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you all the work that you should have on your scratch paper. When you're taking the real exam, you're looking at the computer screen, and they give you these things there, the contraption where you can write your scratch work. This is what you should be writing. It says at the rate of m meters and s seconds. M meters in s second. This is what I'm going to write on my scratch paper, and on top of that, plug in numbers. Now the trick to plugging in numbers is that your numbers have to be simple and easier. The smaller the numbers are, the simpler the numbers are, the easier the calculation is going to be. And you just have to work. You have to trial and error. It takes practice before you get good at this thing. For example, here I'm going to just plug in, let's just say 10 meters in 30 seconds. In 30 seconds. So now I already know that if he's going 10 meters in 30 seconds, I already know that he's going 20 meters in a minute. Now I have to decide how long I want him to travel. So then I'm going to say travels x minutes. This is exactly what I'm going to write down on my scratch paper, and then underneath it I'm going to put a line there, and I'm going to decide how long I want to travel. Let's make him travel for 5 minutes. So if he's going 10 meters in 30 seconds, we already know that he's going 20 meters in 1 minute. We want to go for 5 minutes, which means in 5 minutes, if he's going 20 meters in 1 minute, he must go 100 meters. That's my answer. I'm going to put a box around it. That box tells me that that's my answer. That's 100. Now all I have to do is go through the answer choices and look for 100. Whichever gives me 100 is the answer. Here we go. A says m over s times x. M is 10. As you can see, 10 over some big number is not going to give me 100. I'm not going to waste my time with it. B says m times x over s. This might go someplace. M is 1 over 10. X is 5. As you can see, x is 5. 50 over some number is not going to give me 100. That's a waste of time. Let's look at C. 60 times m, which is 10, that's 600. And if that's 600, in the bottom I better get 6 in order for it to be 100. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Let's see what it gives me. S times x. S is 30. You see, right away I know it's not going to work because it doesn't matter. S times x, it doesn't matter what x is. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because immediately you should realize the top is 600. In order to get 100, the bottom has to be 6. This is not going to work. D is 60 times m, which is already 600, times s, 30, over some number. It's a huge number. On the top is a huge number. That's not going to give you 100. You see? Because x is only 5. That's not going to give you 100. You know what I'm trying to make you understand is that even though you're trying out all 5 answer choices in theory, in practice one does not actually sit there and try to figure out every single answer choice. So you have to look at it and be able to quickly tell whether or not this is going to work out. Let's look at last one. So last one better be the answer. 60 times m, which is 10, is already big, it's a huge number, 600, but we'll see what happens, times x, which is 5, over s, and my s was 30. So let's see what it boils down to. Let's see what it boils down to. You see, here's my s, here was my m, and here's my x. So as you can see immediately, 30 goes into 60 two times. 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 10 is going to give me 100. Voila, that's it. E is the answer. E is the answer. And that's all it is. That's what I call plugging in technique instead of doing the algebraic way. But if you're interested, if you can handle it, if you can broke it, if you can handle it, if you can tolerate it, I'm going to do the algebraic way on this side here, if you're interested. So let's do it very quickly. I'm going to erase C and D because I need the room there. So let's erase it. I'm going to erase this 100 now because we don't need it anymore. If you like, we can put it here. 100 was the answer that we were looking for, and this gives me 100. Let's do the algebraic way, the proper way if you like, just to satisfy your curiosity, so that you can compare the work next to each other. Algebraic way is actually not that bad. The point here is to think logically. You cannot. The math is not what gives people difficulty. You have to think logically, rationally, and systematically. That's the important part here. So I know that it takes him s seconds. Let me change this blue marker, it's no good. I am told that it takes him s seconds for m meters. For example, if I tell you that it's taking him 10 seconds for 100 meters, how long will it, so how much will he go? If I ask you, if it's taking him 10 seconds to go 100 meters, how many meters does he go in 1 second? What would you do? You would take the 100 and divide by 10, which is what I'm going to, 100 is the m here, you're going to take the m and divide by s in order to figure out how long he goes in 1 second, which is what I'm going to figure out next. So this tells me that in 1 second, he must go this many meters. Now let's figure out how long it takes, how long he goes in 60. So in 60 seconds, he must go 60 times this amount, which of course is 1 minute. I already have my 1 minute, so now if this is same as 1 minute, I'm not going to write underneath it, it's going to only confuse you. 1 minute. So since they're asking for x minutes, in x minutes, he must go this amount that you see there, m over s times 60 times x. That's it. That's your answer. And of course this boils down to m times x times 60 over s. Same as E. So there is your classical work. Again, let's erase this part here. S seconds for m meter, which tells me that in 1 second I must go this fraction, m over s. Let's figure out how many meters I travel in 1 minute. So in 1 minute I must go 60 times this quantity, m over s times 60. And therefore in x minutes I must go x times this quantity, m over s times 60, m over s times 60 times x. And there you go. So you have a comparison of the two ways of doing it, the classical way and the plugging in way. But plugging in way is dangerous. It's like owning a chainsaw. One does not buy a chainsaw or start operating a chainsaw unless you are very comfortable with it, because you can hurt yourself. That's what's going to happen here. You're going to end up making one of the predictable mistakes, and you're going to end up picking the trap answer, because 1 out of the 5 is the right answer, and the other 4 are the 4 most common mistakes. 4 more common mistakes in what way? They are the 4 more common mistakes if one were to solve the problem in the way you are expected to solve, which is this way. So don't solve it in the way they expect you to solve it. That way you won't fall for the trap. Just solve it this way. You know the answer has to be 100 because we are pretending that she's going 10 meters in 30 seconds. He must go 20 meters in 1 minute. We want to go for 5 minutes, so in 5 minutes I'll go 100 meters. And just keep on going until something that gives you 100. That's all. Alright? Thanks again for watching. If you want to buy the DVDs of my math solutions that I put together for this book, there are 400 problems there, problem solving and data sufficiency, or If you wish to hire me for personal private tutoring, send me an email. Go to my website at www.prepforgmat.com. Send me an email and I'll take care of you. Thanks again.